I'm all about the good vibes, the good vibes. We bout to have a good time, a good time. Leave my problems all behind, all behind. We living out the good life, yeah. I ain't gotta worry about a thing. Oh no. Had some obstacles I overcame. Oh yeah. You don't have to ever be the same. Oh Lord. Cause when we change the mind, we change the game. Coming through clutch. Coming through clutch. Coming through clutch.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kenny Clutch with another episode on the Clutch Vision Podcast. I got another very, very special guest in the building tonight. Now, he's another young guest, guys, and I've been on this thing of having the young people come on and speak and give their opinions and let them express themselves on what is going on today in today's society, and also giving them a chance to tell their story and what they've been through in life so far. I've got a very intellectual young man that is joining us today, all the way from Sicklerville, New Jersey, Mr. Noah Davis. What's going on, big boy?
Going on, man? How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. How you?
I'm doing amazing. Honored to be here today.
That's good, man. That's good. Listen, man. Now we from the same area. We from Jersey. You know what I'm saying? It gets cold, in Jersey. I know, man. It's getting to that level, man. But we gonna hold it down and everything during these times, right? So check it out, man. So listen, you're an actor, and you're also an advocate for HAE. Now, before we get into the acting stuff, I want to talk about the HAE. So tell the audience, what is HAE exactly, and how did this come about? How did you guys discover it?
Okay. Hereditary angioedema is a rare blood disorder that's actually found in every 1 to 10,000 people. And what it is we're missing a protein in our blood, and we can swell up at any time if unmedicated. And these swells can happen in your hand, your throat, anywhere in your body. So being the way it is, it has a 33% mortality rate. And that's why we always push to everybody has their own medication.
Wow, that's crazy. So when did you guys find out that you had this?
The crazy story was my mother was actually diagnosed before my grandmother was.
Really?
Yes, my mother was diagnosed late in life, probably 15, actually, when I was diagnosed at 3 years old. And that's when we all my mom wasn't really that too much involved when she found out she had it. But when I was born and I got tested, then we all began to basically jump on it, learn more about it, research it, and just try to figure out what this is.
So what was the first, initial reaction? You swelled up and your mom knew exactly what it was?
Yeah. So my mom, knowing that she had it before I was born, immediately wanted me tested. And then I actually started having attacks when I was an infant. I had my first attack at 3 years old.
Wow. So you explained it earlier before we jumped on. So so the audience can get a visual of what this is. So when you guys swell up, you thinking Professor Klump pretty much.
Oh, most definitely. I'm talking about crazy swells, like the professor almost.
Well, that's crazy. And you're a pretty slim dude. So
I'm skinny, but if I get an attack, I won't look skinny anymore. Especially now.
That's crazy, man. So in your advocacy, what exactly are you pushing to get accomplished?
The main thing that I'm pushing personally is to make medication available for everyone. Because my story mainly starts from not being able to have medication, and that's why it's so tragic. Because there are situations where it's life-threatening. We have life-threatening attacks with no medication. And what is somebody supposed to do when their airway is closed and they're in the hospital? They can't say we have HAE, I need to be treated. They can be treated falsely, and now, somebody can sadly pass away.
Right. So you're saying every 1 in 10,000 people are diagnosed with it, and you guys are trying to make sure that medication is available to everyone. So what are some of the steps that you had to go through in order to get this thing started?
Which way do you mean? In order to
as far as taking those steps, you're advocating, you're going on, you're going on different talks and things like that, pretty much advocating for it.
Yeah. So my journey basically started after my whole life almost went into chaos. So like I already told you, I was diagnosed at 3 years old, but at that time there were no treatments available for the use in children.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually gave me androgens with hopes of preventing these attacks. And as a kid, I used to have stomach attacks
Mm-hmm.
where I would vomit uncontrollably day to day. And then I had a throat swell, but only once. And that was so frightening being a child, not being able to breathe.
Right. Right.
And actually, after taking all these medicines, I had a severe reaction at the age of 6.
Mm.
I had to be hospitalized for 3 months at the same place where your son was at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 3 months in there, basically bedridden. I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, all due to meningitis, Kawasaki, encephalitis, and 6 nerve palsy because of a bad reaction to my medicine.
Wow. Wow. So now you're fighting right now so to make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone else.
To nobody else. Yeah. I had literally was 6 years old, having to learn how to walk and talk again. And people thought I would never, ever, ever be able to go back to normal. Even with all the negativity, thanks to my family and strong support system, a lot of people don't have, I was able to bounce back. I'm now taking AP classes. I'm a 3-time AAU national champion.
Okay.
I'm even in student leadership, all because of the grace of God, you know.
Okay. Praise him. That's what I'm talking about. That's what's up, man. Wow. Yeah. So now you're 16, right?
Yeah, 16 years old.
16 years old, advocating. And how does it feel to be a leader so young?
I love making a difference, and I love seeing that change implemented. Because raising awareness, no matter where you are at your life, whether it's a big group of people or a small group, I mean, I've talked to crowds over 800 and crowds to 5 people. It's just a beautiful thing to see people understand and want to make a change about it, because that way change can actually be integrated into our daily life, so people will never ever have to go through what I did as a child.
That's amazing, man. And it seems like you're like so, determined to make this happen. Where does the determination come from?
Honestly, I think it was what I had to go through.
Yeah.
It was a very, very bad time in my life. And not even that, just seeing it, how it affects other people. I go to global conferences where I hear other people's stories from over 35 different countries. And these kids will tell me things that they experienced, all because of lack of medication. And the government doesn't know about HAE, so they get treated as if it's not even real. There are some kids where they'll go to hospitals, and the people there will say they've never heard of HAE.
Wow. Because I'm gonna be honest, I never even heard of it. Like, I've never heard of it. And I know it's a rare blood disorder. And Christian also had a rare blood disorder, but his blood disorder, was more linked towards like leukemia. So his blood cell count was, I think his platelet levels were around 10 and 15, at that time when he was born. So we were like, all right, he had to stay in the NICU until he was like 55 and rising. So it had to get bumped up. And, that type of scare right there, how did your mom stay so strong, during those times?
My mom is probably the strongest person you'll ever meet. And I'll start off by saying that. And even what I went through broke her down. Obviously not in front of me, but whenever she was in front of me, Mom would stay strong, covered in faith. She would pray over me almost every single day, pray out loud on her knees for me, because she didn't think I could make it to tomorrow. A lot of people didn't. Really? And that's why just the saving grace of her always being there for me, being supportive.
Yeah.
Whenever I felt like I needed something while I was in the hospital, she was right there with it.
Right.
And she always had a sense of hope that, my son would make it through.
Right. So they sit there and said that you wasn't going to make it. They said that you wasn't going, like they pretty much was calling the curtains for you. It's a wrap. You're done. Finito. Bye-bye. Like, it's a wrap, right?
Oh, yeah.
But God sat here and was just like, no, I'm not done with him yet. And I want you. Ooh, like, ain't he good, right?
I like to preach about, everybody says God works in amazing ways, and he really does. Because that was supposed to be something that was going to end me.
Right.
And it started off a whole different chapter of my life. Honestly, I don't think I would be here talking to you if this didn't happen to me.
Right. So what do the kids think about in your school? Like, how do they respond to you?
Yeah, they are extremely supportive. Like my school, even my middle school, we used to have fundraisers, and they would always have a staff member on board that could actually give me my infusions. And I love that support, because that means so much to me as just a young African-American male in this world, that I have so many people that have my back, people that always know about HAE. That
Right.
makes you feel so safe and comforted. Yeah.
Right. Right. That's dope, man. That's dope. So here we are, 16 years old. You are advocating for HAE internationally, by the way, and you are also an actor, and you like just an example to so many different people across the world, you know. And you got into acting. What year did you get into acting?
I just started acting 2 years ago, my
Okay.
freshman year of high school.
Just started acting 2 years ago, and then now you were telling me earlier that you haven't had an attack in 2 years.
2 years.
Talk about walking in your purpose, right?
Yeah, of course.
Look at that. So now that you haven't had an attack in 2 years, do you still take infusions? Do you?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
still have efficient and very good medication on hand.
say it again.
I still have efficient and very good medication on hand. I
Okay.
believe I haven't had an attack mainly because of my faith. And second, I take up my medication.
There it is. There it is. There it is, man. So, like, how important, is it for your generation to have that faith? Because it's very rare. Not only are you a rare case of 1 in 10,000 of having HAE, but you're also a rare case of, a young man believing in God and knowing that He is the reason why you're here today.
Yeah. I think this generation itself has steered itself away from God, which is very sad to see because this is the time where we need Him. You know, we're going through a global pandemic. We have social injustice. We have all this division in the world that only one thing can heal, and that's God. But that's mainly come from my family always, having church on. Even during the pandemic, I've always went to church, and I've always liked to ask questions. So I would ask, like, where do you think we came from? What's our purpose? And I've always seen, like, God's hand worked in my life especially, so I've always stayed strong in my faith.
That's deep, man. That's deep. I love it. I love it, man. So you mentioned social injustice. What's your take on this, man? Like recently we just had, another shooting of another black man who was shot 7 times. Give me 1 second there. Edit that out. There we are. He was shot 7 times in the back. Mr. Jacob Blake. How do you react to that as a young man?
It frightens me. And it's sad to say, it really does frighten me. Because I can see myself in that situation. He was shot in front of his 3 children. It's almost like we've seen them killed in every possible situation where they shouldn't have been killed.
Right.
And it breaks my heart almost.
Right. If I could offer any advice to you from another black man to a younger black man.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, thank you. That's all.
You good. If I could offer any advice, I'm going to tell you not to be scared. You know why? Because the Bible talks about be afraid of no man, be afraid of not flesh and blood, only, the Spirit of God.
Yeah.
So if I get the terminology of being frightened, but we wasn't made to walk in no fear.
Of course not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I get where people are coming from when they say that you don't know if a prejudiced cop is going to come up on you, pull you over, and pretty much is going to be a wrap for you because you don't, like LeBron James say, you don't know what side they got out on the bed this morning.
Right.
You don't know if they're having a good day or a bad day, and then boom, the first black person they see is chitty chitty bang bang, right?
Yeah. You're done for.
But my advice to you, right, is to continue to press on and keep moving forward, no matter the circumstances at all. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, God has the last say. And let me say this: Jacob Blake is still alive by the grace of God. Let's put that out there right now. The doctor said that right now he's paralyzed. Right now they're saying that he may not walk ever again. Maybe, right? But I just posted another man that was paralyzed as well too a couple of weeks ago. I just posted him a couple of weeks ago, and they said that he would never walk again either. So let's not, he may be paralyzed right now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we got to walk in faith, So young man, I say this, young king, I say this. Let's stop saying that we're scared, because we're not. let's stop saying that we're in fear of cops and their guns, because we're not. Does it bring a scariness to you? Yes, in the flesh it does. Yeah. But if we operate in the spirit, bro, listen, man, we gotta think different, move different, act different, you know what I'm saying, talk different. So therefore, you know, I'm not afraid, because I know who I represent at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to continue to stand up for what's right. We're going to continue to stand up, you know, for the betterment of, you know, of the greater good. Yeah. We're called to be the light. You know what I'm saying?
Like the world. Amen.
Yes. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's my encouragement and everything to you. You feel me? As in, you know, brother to brother, like I don't want my young kings to be scared. I don't want you guys to be frightened or whatever. I don't want you to even use that type of terminology, because I don't want that to be instilled into your mind as soon as you see a cop or whatever you think is going to be on and popping. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I want you to sit there and stand firm and stand your ground, because it may look like you surrounded, but you're surrounded by him. Mm-hmm. Right? So, you know, that's that was my preaching real quick. I had to get that off.
Appreciate it. Trust me.
I had to get that off. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, if you guys are listening to this on Spotify or on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Share this with your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your grandpa, abuela, abuelo. Share it with everybody. Share it with your stepmom, your stepdad, your stepaunt, your stepcat, your stepdog, your step tarantula. I don't care who it is. Make sure you share it with somebody who needs this positivity right now. You know what I'm saying? Now, moving forward and sticking with the social injustice topic, you know, how do you guys as a younger generation, what are some changes? What are some things that you do to move forward so that, you know, you guys defeat the type of prejudice and the type of injustice that's going on in the world today?
So I think the most obvious thing we have to do is rid ourselves of all ignorance. And not just African Americans, but all people, because everybody knows that ignorance breeds hate. So in order for us to get over this generational hate, this family hate that some people had implemented into their multiple generations, is we have to educate ourselves about others, understanding everybody's culture and respecting their culture. So the first way to get through all that is communication. By communicating with each other, we begin to accept everything about who we are as people, and we can love each other, grow together, most importantly, and just begin to love ourselves always and know our backgrounds, respect our own backgrounds, and while still standing firm in everybody else's belief.
Dope, man. Dope. Where you get all this knowledge from, bro?
My mom, mainly.
Okay.
Debates usually with a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
And that's always good, because having these hard conversations is how we grow. It's
a hard conversation to have, right? Like if we keeping it funky, you know, like, have you had this conversation with other white people?
You want to hear the truth? Probably only 5 of them actually haven't.
This is where we lay it down. Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to say barely, if that.
Really?
I hang out with a lot of white people.
Yeah.
I barely have been able to have this conversation. I try to, but they say I don't want to talk about it. You know, I try to shy away from the topic. I'm like, this is something we need to talk about, so it won't happen in our generation, our family. Right. Is where we can stop this.
So they tell you they don't want to talk about it.
Oh, of course.
So is that saying to you like it's not important to them?
I see it as they're afraid of confrontation. And I think a lot of people nowadays they can't see us having this conversation without it being hostile, but that's not the goal of this conversation, isn't to become hostile.
It's not to be hostile. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. And I feel like, I mean, I've been able to have this conversation with a lot of white people, you know, and even some of my white friends, and like, you know, like we've been having this conversation even before this, like before all this was happening, like we was talking about this stuff. And it's like, what do you do, right? It's like, what's your part? What's your position in all of this, right? Now, look, at the end of the day, we're not waiting for, you know, a savior or anything like that. Like, you know, white people come and save us or whatever. Like we ain't looking for all of that. right?
Mm.
What we're saying is treat us the same way that you would treat someone else.
Exactly what the Black Lives Matter movement is about.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? And here's the deal. If we are a people, right? We're all humans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's the race.
The only race is the human race. I say that all the time.
Right.
It's not disputable.
You can't.
Yeah, it's biologically, scientifically proven as a fact that we are all Homo sapiens, otherwise known as the human race.
Right. Human race. And that's it. Like, if we can get that, you know, through our head as far as being a race and being human beings first. Before I'm black, I'm a human. You know what I'm saying? Like, treat me as such. Right? Like, you wouldn't want somebody coming down the street or whatever and profiling you and being like, you know what? You're white, you're Asian, you're Puerto Rican, and you're dead.
Right.
That's not what, come on now. What we're asking for is, you know, just to treat us, you know, fairly. Right. But we are,
because the color of our skin. Yeah, that's the main thing we're asking for.
Right. So in the area that you live in, have you experienced you know, any type of prejudice?
That's very crazy because not in my area, although I've had several occurrences where I have been judged because of my color, and even literally mouth to mouth, they said it. I remember one time I was in Spain for an international conference, and there's one kid who called me something, and I'm like, you know, that's not, you probably can guess what he called me, but like, that's not what we can do over here. Right. I don't know what they do in the country, but that's not acceptable here, you know? And even down south, we would get weird looks when we go to expensive places or restaurants where you usually have to pay a lot or get reservations. And it's just simple stuff that they'll do, like the looks, or they'll ask questions because they know we're people of color. I remember one time I went to this place and this was very recently, by the way, very recently. And I walked in, but we were behind a group of people first. So we asked them if they had a reservation or if they wanted to just come in and sit. We had to wait. And that's what he said to them. And then when it was our turn, he was like, okay, we have a wait for you guys. And we're like, actually, we have a reservation. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, it's that whole process itself is like, really?
Right. You know, it's crazy, man. You know what's funny? You know what my brother does sometimes? he may kill me for saying this, but I don't care. He'll like, every time he's ready to buy a new car, he goes in with shorts and a tank top. And he'll want like one of the most expensive cars or something like that, and he'll just do it on purpose just to prove a point.
Just see the reaction.
To see the reaction, because it happens all the time. All the time. And it shouldn't matter what you have on. It shouldn't matter. You don't have to go in a suit and tie to go buy a car. You know, you don't have to sit here or whatever and floss to buy a vehicle, or you shouldn't have to floss just because you're going into an expensive restaurant. You shouldn't have, like, come on, man. Like, I eat just like you eat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all have made money and we spend the money and we put the money in certain places. We all, like, come on. Like, when is it going to register that we're equal?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, right? You know? Yeah. But I'm not going to hold my breath on it. But what we can do is continue to have these conversations, continue to push forward. And then, you know, even from, I'm not really the politician or whatever, but even from a political standpoint, people need to start working to get those roles in those positions to make those changes that we made.
Yeah, you know? I believe that's important too, because when it comes to government, it's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know about, which is why we need people that are actually going to push things forward that will, of course, be good for everybody in the agenda, not just a certain group of people.
Exactly. You know, so yeah, man, I appreciate that, brother. So how have you guys been, you know, throughout this whole pandemic?
We've just been doing our part, everything we're supposed to do. We always have washed our hands. That never was a concern.
Right.
Exactly. It's all the stuff we were always supposed to be doing. Yes, we've always been doing that. And whenever we go somewhere, we maintain social distance. We have our mask on. And of course, I'm just at home and I just found some more passions, just trying to stay at home.
There you go. There you
My
go.
mindset was
So you're getting ready for school. Are you guys doing remote?
supposedly we're going in person 5 days a week.
Really? What school?
St. Augustine Prep.
Okay, got you. So you guys are going to school 5 days a week. You guys are going all in.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hopefully we can, because I love school.
Yeah. So you rather be in school versus doing remote?
Honestly, before, if you asked me that sophomore year, I would have said yes, I want to go in person. But now I feel like I want to stay remote or do hybrid, just because I'm trying to pursue more of a career working, doing more acting, just trying to get more opportunities like this.
Yeah, because it just opens it up for you. So your reasons for doing remote are more geared toward career-wise versus actually not wanting to go into school.
Yeah, of course.
That makes sense. My daughter is full-blown ready to go back into school.
Everybody. I feel like everybody.
Yeah, she's like, yo, I'm not with the remote, learning or anything like that, which is kind of a good thing where she just doesn't want to be stuck in front of a computer all day.
Yeah, because that is bad for you. Screen time is very unhealthy for you.
Absolutely, man. Because I remember my younger days, me staying in the screen just because I had to get this work done. I started to get headaches and everything.
Of course.
The screen.
I had, when we used to go to school, I had migraines.
Yeah.
Even during school, I got severe migraines. I had to take medicine for it almost daily.
Wow, man. So let me ask you this, man. Listen, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, okay? As we're running out of time and everything, but I'm gonna put you on the spot here. There's over 7 billion people that live on this planet.
Of course.
And we're gearing up for the fourth quarter of the year.
Mm-hmm.
To your generation and to the parents, or just everybody in general, what encouraging words do you say to them to finish up 2020?
Okay. All right. I would say that no matter how you began this year, no matter what happened during the pandemic or whatever you're going through, whether it be a good circumstance or a bad circumstance, never ever stop doing what you love and never ever give up. Always do whatever you're passionate about until you can't. And find something you're passionate about each and every day. Learn more. Learn something new about your neighbor. Always pursue communication with people that you see every day, even more, or people that you don't see every day. Always.
Oh, I think we lost you there for a second. I think we lost the sound for a second, brother. Can you hear me?
Oh, did my connection mess up?
Yeah.
All right, I think
you was grooving too. The devil is a liar.
Right, the devil trying to cut it off.
Yeah. Go ahead and finish up right there.
So basically, communication is vital. Always, and most importantly, love yourself, love God, love others, keep your head forward, and always work hard until the better days are here.
Amen, brother. So check this out, man. We're going to play a little game. You down?
All right, I'll play. I love video games. All
right, cool. So we're going to play this game called In the Clutch, and I'm Kenny Clutch. All right? So In the Clutch stands for Inspirational Dancers Creatively Linking Upon the Culture of Hip Hop. Okay, that's the what I gave it back in 2009. I started the company In the Clutch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a letter, and you give me a positive word that goes with that letter.
All right.
All right?
All right, we can do
that. All right, here we go. C.
Charisma.
L.
Leadership.
Okay, that's different. Everybody picks love. U.
Union.
T.
Thriving.
C.
Courage.
H.
Give me the hardest one last. Hope.
There it is. That's clutch. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my young bull, Mr. Noah Davis, y'all. Listen, bro, tell the people where can they find you at. Give them your Instagram, your Twitter, your TikTok, whatever it is that you got.
You can find me on Instagram at noah.daviss with 3 S's. That's correct. Follow me there. You can also find me on Twitter at noahboa16, which is the same my TikTok. I'm starting to post more, trying to get it out there, have a positive impact on the community.
That's what's up, man. We appreciate you coming on to the show. Everybody, listen up. On September 12th, we are going to be hosting another Shift Makers event with the Starlight Foundation, the Starlight Cancer Foundation. We will be doing another live event via Zoom. You could go right on to www.kennyclutchspeaks.com, go to the event section and register for the event. This is a free event. Our goal is to raise $2,500 for the month of September, as it is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So you can go to www.kennyclutchspeaks.com. The event is going down September the 12th. And we also have another event following that going down in October the 3rd. We will be having our next Shift Makers event, but which will be geared toward the at-risk youth. Okay, youth motivation, youth empowerment. Everyone, if you're a youth, if you are from the ages 13 to 21, you want to make sure you are at this event virtually. It will be free. Both events are free. So make sure you guys go ahead and register. Hit me up at KennyClutch_ on Instagram, and make sure that you are watching. If you are watching this, make sure you like, subscribe, comment below on YouTube, on Google Podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Give us a nice little review. So we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Hey, and we just started our own Patreon page, everybody. That's right. We started our own Patreon page, so make sure you guys go ahead and become a Patreon member. We have different tiers, so you guys can also make sure that you can grab a tier, whatever tier that you want to grab, and become a member. There are some perks that come with being a special member of our Patreon page. And like we always say, remember, when we change the mind, we change the game. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow will worry about itself. And today is all we have. And if today is all we have, you make sure you impact today the best way you know how. It's your boy, Kenny Clutch, on the Clutch Vision Podcast. My young boy, Mr. Noah Davis, is in the building. We appreciate y'all. We holler at y'all later. Peace.
Cause when we change the mind, we change the game.